Same thing. No memory card.
No memory card.
We'll have no memory of this. Let's see if
I see what you did there. I didn't have a comeback for it, but I paused. And I was trying to think of something clever, and I didn't have anything.
It's okay.
We are 5:30 Eastern time. Oh no, we're 6:30 Eastern time today. Yeah, 6:30 Eastern time.
We're early. I'm letting those East Coast folks get a good night's sleep.
Poor Bobby. Nobody knows what happened to him. But we're waiting for him.
Yeah, wait, no, Bobby. That's why we're always late.
We started without you.
Hey, there he is.
Hi. I usually get that one, but I'll let you get it. Oh. Would you like some coffee?
Pour it in there.
How come you guys make me use the thing?
Oh, I'll use it.
I do that sometimes.
I make him use this.
Oh, I usually use that one.
I'll try
Whose
it.
is this one?
I use that one.
this one. Is that one you use? How come there's only two? Oh, I use a book.
I usually use a Bible. Are we really on already?
Yeah.
Yeah. We started at 5:30.
Greetings.
We're sick of this 10-minute late stuff that Bobby does.
Wow.
Taking a.
It's not 10 minutes.
They made you a hat.
Oh yeah, congreso.
Congreso.
Yeah, I didn't make it. Well, not just for me. You want to buy one?
No.
I give Caleb
I
one.
hate that E. I already told you.
Oh, I got a hat.
You got a Congreso hat?
Not a Congresso hat. Got the
Super
camera.
Yeah, but does it have that back on it? I don't want that.
No, it's like that.
The snapback?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that new?
That one? Patagonia? We had this conversation.
That? No, we didn't. On the B cycle?
Yeah.
I missed that conversation.
We're classy now.
Dang, that's super high class.
We talked
How
about
much is that hat? Like $40?
35.
Dang. I do not want one.
Get it for
I
30.
can't afford it. I get it for 30.
Yes.
Yes.
Then yes.
What about two of them?
No.
Can you get me two?
I can't. 60.
Did you play songs?
You know where I don't need $60 spent because I have 10% off? Blue Bonnet.
Oh. Hey, you know what? Some guy did.
I can get a Blue Bonnet hat. Actually,
I'm
I need
glad.
a Blue Bonnet hat.
I'll
Father's Day.
order you. Oh, for Father's Day, I'll order you a Blue Bonnet hat. Speaking of Blue Bonnet, so I'm a little embarrassed to say that this is not Blue Bonnet.
Why? What'd you do?
I ran out.
It was hot. You're not on a subscription?
So.
You should have told me because my subscription showed up today.
Oh.
Dang, gotta get on that subscription.
What'd you get?
Same thing. Big Woods, Leticia, Homestead.
They don't send random, or you pick?
You pick what you want.
So I was out.
Dang.
So this is not Blue Bonnet,
You can get
but
some for Sunday?
I need to order Blue Bonnet coffee from bluebonnetcoffee.com. And at checkout.
Enter AHBC for 10% off. Is it capitalized?
I don't think it matters.
I don't think so.
No.
I want to try that Guadalupe one. I may order that.
It's like so hot. The temperature of the coffee.
Bummer.
Like,
It was just brewed. Yeah, so bluebonnetcoffee.com. Order it today. Thank you, John and Whitney, for being good people and supplying
us with coffee.
this great state. We're all over the
It's
state.
a great country. Wonder where nobody's probably watching right now because we're early, but
They are actually.
we got more
YouTube
people watching
is
now.
working.
We got more people watching now than we usually do. Clicked by accident.
What were you gonna say?
We didn't have YouTube Sunday, but it's on YouTube
I wonder
now.
where the farthest they've shipped their coffee to.
John and Whitney, where's the farthest you ship their coffee? Like, hey Siri.
Oh, where's the farthest John and Whitney have shipped their coffee?
I'm gonna ship it to South Carolina.
But that's just you ordering it and shipping it.
I'm ordering it and shipping it to my brother, yes. So that when I get there, my brother was like, hey, so you're coming.
Bring your own coffee.
I only have a Keurig.
Nice.
It's like, oh, I'll be bringing my own coffee. So I figured that I don't have to pack it if I ship it there. And then I'm going to take my pour over.
We had this conversation at Blueprint about people needing their coffee addictions.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's it's all mental. Like, cause like the guy I was talking to this week was like, no, I came to camp, so like mentally I know like
No, that
That's what he said. But then I was like, some groups bring like their own, like they set up their own things. Like, oh, that's happening next year for sure. I like that.
Who was he? That Wes?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
That was when we were
So last night, I was at Blueprint.
Yeah, you're speaking. This week. That's why we're an hour
Yeah,
early.
I apologize. We're an hour early because I'm speaking at a camp tonight. The last night, since Sunday. But Doug, I was talking to Doug yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how I had my coffee. I took coffee last night, and he was like, "Hey, I'm like the real deal in coffee now," because I feel like I converted Blueprint Ministry and those there to real coffee. Because when I first got there, it was like Maxwell House.
Oh, it still is. It's Folgers now.
No.
Oh, you gotta get Folgers crystals.
Yeah.
No.
The best part of waking up, bro.
So
Folgers
Doug
in your cup. Yeah, Doug's
has a hand grinder and French presses every day.
He makes his own cold brew now too.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so proud of him.
Good job, Douglas.
Yeah.
Dougie.
Yeah, Doug.
I almost kind of cried yesterday, and then I hugged him, and
That's a good moment.
I was like super pumped for him. But coffee's good, and it does matter. It does matter.
No, it doesn't. But okay.
It does.
It does when you get headaches and you don't have it. It matters a little bit.
That means you have an addiction. That's why it doesn't matter.
No.
The taste of
Just means I like it.
Both of you guys.
no.
I can stop whenever I want to. I can quit whenever I want to.
Just
Sure.
aggravated I didn't have any. It gave me a headache.
Blue Bonnet coffee. and here's the thing. What I really love about coffee is it's 5:38. I was a few minutes late. But
Competency.
It's a great conversation starter. You can get people sitting around coffee and talking good talk. That's what I like about coffee.
Yeah, you can do it around a soda too.
No, I don't drink soda. I don't hang out with those people. You could with Big Red and Barbacoa.
There you go.
Anyway.
Breakfast taco.
Breakfast taco.
Yeah, so...
but there's not really not like a Big Red Barbacoa to go sit down coffee shop style and take your...
I think we just got a business idea.
It's the coffee shop with Big Red Barbacoa.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is you can do like Big Blue, Big Yellow. Have you seen all the different flavors of Big
Yeah,
Red?
they've got a lot of different flavors.
Go all
I don't drink coffee with my breakfast taco.
I don't drink Big Red.
So if I'm having a breakfast taco, I don't serve myself coffee yet.
That's unfortunate.
Because if I do salsa, it's hot.
That's why you have to drink a glass of water.
I have water, but
I do both. I have a glass of water.
Coffee and salsa.
No, I hold off, because then once I'm done with my taco, then I enjoy my cup of slow pour coffee.
Then I have the second cup of coffee.
Yeah, we're just having this conversation. I don't even care what stuff tastes like anymore. Food is fuel, not. I don't know.
That's unfortunate. I'm going to pray for you. Hey, so on that note, speaking about food is fuel, Caleb,
like nuts.
Norma, and me and Hannah and the daughters and what can I say? I almost said mom. Can I say that?
Say Chancho.
Chancho? And Chancho? Baby Chancho? I'll have to edit that out.
Let me see the paperwork.
Yeah.
Anyway,
am I allowed to say his name?
Anyway, we were having lunch. And during lunch on Sunday, confirmed what I brought up last week, and even the reason why we're doing this.
What did you confirm?
Well, so I said, hey, it's summer, everybody's watching movies, and I didn't know if that was like a real thing. But then at lunch on Sunday, confirmed that because our conversation was mostly about what movies are out, what movies are you watching, what movies are you watching. So we suggested some movies to them, they suggested some movies to us. And you guys watched the fishing one.
Yeah, way.
Yeah.
We watched that way.
It was real weird.
Did you watch that one too?
Yeah, they were trying to like mix Spanish and English together, and I was like, stop. Like, do it.
I mean, the movie was good.
It was a good movie.
They overkilled the way thing.
Yeah.
No, because that was like the way they were trying to make it.
A way?
Yeah, they were trying to make
It's just way too much. I say it every once in a while.
But it was only the kids that said it.
I know, but it was just way too much.
Yeah, wait.
I can't think of the name. The big
Miracle.
Big Miracle Capture. Blue Miracle.
Blue Miracle.
Yeah, so that was the one of the ones that we suggested.
Dennis Quaid, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of famous.
He's solid.
Yeah.
It's 5:41 and these guys are still working hard outside.
Dude,
that's recycle there.
Yeah,
it was hot.
Thank you.
These windows are atrocious. Like it's not like there's a window there. They might as well just be in our backyard.
Yeah. But anyway, those are good guys. Thank you, Steven.
You know the garbage man's name?
You don't know your garbage man's
He
name?
brings them coffee.
I give them Topo Chico.
Nice. No, I have no idea.
There they go.
That's not true. I don't know my city guy, but I know my waste management guy. I do give him drinks.
I give my Topo Chico.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I can't afford Topos. They're HEB sparkling waters.
hey, that works.
Just as good.
And no coffee.
Caleb and Norma brought up Evan Almighty.
Yeah.
And so going back on Monday, I started watching some Evan Almighty clips, and I was like, we got to do Evan Almighty. It's just funny. So I text you guys, hey, bring your clips. And so we have 3 clips.
Yep.
This is midweek movie clips, or what do we call this?
Summer clips.
Summer flicks.
Summer clips.
No.
Summer clips.
Movies.
It's like great clips, but just movies, not cutting your hair. All right, so we got 3 clips for you from Evan Almighty.
Oh, let's turn.
I can make it bigger.
Yeah, make it bigger.
That's it. Is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
All right.
Little line. That's okay.
All right, here we go. So this
We're an hour earlier.
is not the first clip of the movie. So to give context, do we even need to give context if you haven't seen this?
Yes, if you haven't seen this movie,
Genesis.
6:14.
how do you explain it? What's happening?
So-
Morgan Freeman is God, because
Yeah.
he's the only person that should ever play God in a movie.
And this is kind of a part 2.
This is Evan Almighty.
It is part 2 to Bruce Almighty.
Bruce.
Bruce Almighty. This is Evan Almighty. Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey was first. Now Steve Carell. Morgan Freeman was also God in that one.
Mhm. I mean, Steve Carell was in there as Evan in the first one.
He was.
So-
So it kind of. They haven't made a third one. I wonder what story they would do.
It would just be Joseph in prison, I guess.
That was good.
That was good.
Oh, that was good.
Well
That
done.
was good.
Dang, that was good.
So anyway,
Yeah.
Genesis 6:14 keeps popping up, and Genesis 6:14 is
Go build an ark.
Go ye therefore, because they use the King James version. Larry would be happy. Go build an ark. So Evan
Almighty
essentially
is a new congressman.
Yeah.
And so he's real worried about
just bought a house in Maryland.
appearances, yeah. And now God keeps showing up.
And Gopher
Yeah.
Wood was just delivered.
Yeah.
Go for Wood was just delivered.
Best joke in the whole movie.
That is a
Yeah.
good joke. That was
Alright.
very clever.
First clip.
So, you're really him, aren't you?
You want more proof? I haven't done the pillow of salt thing in a while.
That's all right, I believe you. I don't understand why you chose me.
You want to change the world, son. So do I.
What? What an arc! I mean, that's like flood territory. You wouldn't do that again. You wouldn't do that. Would you do that?
Let's just say that whatever I do it because I love you.
Well, then you have to understand that this whole building an arc thing is really not part of my plans here. I need to settle into my house. I need to make a good impression at work. What?
Your plan, sister.
What are you talking about? We're talking about an arc, right? I mean, an arc? An arc is huge. I don't even know where I would begin.
Well, I hear that a lot. People want to change the world, don't know how to begin. You want to know how to change the world, son? One act of random kindness at a time. Build the ark. I'll tell you what. You build it, I'll fill it. And if anybody asks, tell them flood's coming. Oh, and you might need this.
Okay, so what do I do? I grab the wood. Oh, okay. You know, that's just cruel.
You see him?
Do you see him?
Do you see him?
Alright.
It's good.
Second clip.
Oh, we're not going to talk on one at a time?
Oh, do you want to talk about it
I
one
don't
time?
What did we do last week?
I think we watched all of them.
Oh, okay, let's watch this.
Oh, we can watch that.
No. His family's disowning him. Or his family's very embarrassed about what's going on now. He has
And-
started building the ark in Maryland, and all the neighbors are laughing at him.
And they're already upset because he was supposed to carve out all this time for his family when they got to Maryland, and he's been neglecting that too. And some of it has been because of this whole arc thing now.
Oh, excuse me.
That's his
Can I
wife.
get a refill, please?
Coming right up. Excuse me, are you alright?
Yeah. No. It's a long story.
Well, I like stories. I'm considered a bit of a storyteller myself.
My husband. You heard of New York's Noah?
The guy who's building the ark.
That's him.
I love that story. Knowing the ark. You know, a lot of people miss the point of that story. They think it's about God's wrath and anger. They love it when God gets angry.
What is the story about then, the Ark?
Well, I think it's a love story about believing in each other. You know, the Hellman showed up in Paris. You know, they stood by each other, side by side, just like Noah and his family. Everybody entered the ark, side by side.
But my husband says God told him to do it. What do you do with that?
Sounds like an opportunity. Let me ask you something. If someone prays for patience, you think God gives them patience? Or does he give them the opportunity to be patient? If they pray for courage, does God give them courage, or does he give them opportunities to be courageous? If someone prays for the family to be closer, do you think God zaps them with warm, fuzzy feelings? Or does he give them opportunities to love each other? Well, I gotta run. A lot of people are scared. Enjoy.
That was good.
You catch the miracle of the fish and chip today.
I did multiply. He brought it up. That's good.
All right, so now we get to the end, and I mean, we don't even need
No, not this one. The walk in the park one.
I thought it was this one.
No, we can do
Which walk in the park?
the ARK where he explains the ark.
Yeah, that's this one.
No, it's not. That's animals. That's before the flood.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
The one where he have an almighty.
Oh,
End walk.
end scene.
End scene. Ending thing.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted that one.
Yeah, that one. That one was. I mean, that one was okay, but since I have to
This
choose
one?
one, yeah, this one was better.
Our pre-production meetings are horrible.
Yeah. we watched too many of them. We had to talk about it. That was my fault.
What are you doing here?
Just hanging out with some old friends.
You knew all along, didn't you? You knew the dam was unstable. It hadn't meant for the ark, my family, the neighbors. I fought you every step of the way.
Yes, but you did it.
So you had nothing to do with the flood? Like where the ark landed exactly?
I gave you a little shove at the end. Sue me. You did good, son.
You did good.
You changed the world.
No, I didn't.
Well, let's see. Spending time with your family, making them very happy. Gave that dog a home.
Right, so?
So, how do we change the world?
One act of random kindness at a time.
One act of random kindness. It's time. Do the dance.
Care to join me?
That's dumb.
Good damn.
All right, so we had 3 clips.
It's a super funny movie, by the way.
It is.
We did like 3 serious clips. I mean, yours has some funny parts.
They all had some funny parts. We did, before you got here, we were watching a ton of clips, and
Yeah.
I got mixed up.
But it was funny.
But it was funny. I mean, where do you want to start? You want to change the world. That's why he becomes congressman, is because he has this idea to change the world. Little did he know that it would be interrupted. His plans would be interrupted.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah.
Is he says, but I had a plan.
Yeah.
And Morgan Freeman just starts laughing.
Yeah, and that's really what got me thinking about this clip, because Norma brought that up on Sunday. Then this was not part of my plans, and then Morgan Freeman, God, just starts laughing. And so I guess it's, if we were all really honest, that's every one of us.
Yeah. Gotta take it Isaiah 55 verse 8 through 10.
Okay, Isaiah what?
55, 8 through 10. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. As the rain and the snow come down from heaven and do not return to it without watering the earth and making it bud and flourish, so that it yields seed for the sower and bread for the eater, so is my word that goes forth out of my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. There's a whole bunch more, but...
Yeah, that's good. Your thoughts are not my thoughts.
Yeah. Which is, there's a whole bunch of scriptures about your best laid plans and worrying about tomorrow and, tonight go build bigger barns and, tonight your soul is required of you. There's a lot of verses in the Bible about go make your best plans and just... In the end, those aren't...
Commit your ways to the Lord?
Yeah. There's right, but I guess I'm talking more about the idea that...
Your own plans.
Our own plans, right. And then, correct, then there's a ton of verses about, we see God laughing here in kind of the... Obviously, well, I guess God can do whatever he wants, but we haven't seen God tell anybody else to build an ark yet, lately, because of a flood.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I meant again, lately. And so it's a humorous situation that you can laugh at, but really, when you boil it down to it, it's all of us, right? And he in the movie, they boil it down to this acts of random kindness is where you start, right? Doesn't mean you're going to end up building an ark, but it does, even in a simple situations, we lay our best laid plans, and they're not God's plans, and God's like, listen, I'm going to, boop, and let's do it this way. In it, like he says in the end clip here, I fought you every step of the way.
Yeah.
You knew what was going to happen, didn't you? I fought you every step of the way. And the idea is that, his ways are higher than our ways. Just as the rain comes down and does what it's supposed to do, so are the words that go out of my mouth.
I have an issue with acts of random kindness.
Oh my gosh. Continue.
Well, so here's my thought. Because I wrote that down too, and I didn't.
The people.
You want acts of specific kindness?
Well,
it doesn't spell ark then.
Right. So obviously, you
can't say random acts of kindness.
First of all, you were having an issue because you said, wait, random acts of kindness? No, they obviously had to change it to spell ark, and if you caught it, God wrote in the sand, which
there's a lot of subtle things. Like Caleb brought one up. Multiplying the fish and chips.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, that's really good. And I wonder if the directors, producers, actors are believers.
No.
But yet they know the
Super
Bible
sarcastic.
Probably way... You gotta know the Bible, though.
Correct.
Because all these innuendos are straight from Scripture.
Wanda Sykes in this is awesome.
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
But a lot of her humor out of it is Scripture related.
Correct.
Like parallels. So she had to know it. Or at least didn't know it before, but because of the script, knew it then. Which is something we learned in our...
no, she definitely knows it, because she's one of the voices in the Bible Experience CDs.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. Oh. When they do a whole bunch of... Samuel L. Jackson is too. It doesn't mean anything. He doesn't swear, which is surprising.
Yeah. But well, so here's my issue.
He wasn't sick of the snakes on the plane.
I never saw that movie.
Well, I know I didn't either, but everybody knows the line.
Yeah, I've never seen it. But
I don't think I know the line.
The bad word. Yeah, never mind.
I don't
we can do that one next week.
Keep yourself pure.
Keep yourself pure, Bob.
So, acts of random kindness is helpful because, yes, it spells ark and it goes great.
What a dumb theory for a movie, right? I have no idea what the movie's about, but apparently a whole bunch of snakes get off on a plane.
Snakes on a plane?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What? Anyway.
Got him in a backpack.
Yes.
Anyway. How do you get through security? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Why were they? This was before 9/11, wasn't it?
Yeah, why was there snakes on the plane?
Why not?
I literally know nothing about the movie except
How
for
did the
Samuel
lion and the
Jackson.
zebra get to Madagascar? They were on a plane.
Or a ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
They flew
Dang,
planes.
that was a cartoon.
Penguins
really.
flew
Dude,
airplanes.
penguins are so good. We should do that movie next.
Anyway,
Penguins are awesome.
Ark.
Arc. Yeah.
Acts of
Why
Random
don't you like
Kindness.
Acts of Random
Well,
Kindness?
so here's what it sounds like. It sounds super like, okay, Leighton, Caleb, and Bobby are telling me I need to go to Starbucks, and in the drive-thru line, I need to pay for the person behind me.
Yeah.
And when they get to the window, they're
That's
going to be
Jesus.
so great,
Oh.
and then they are going to pay
Yeah.
until somebody breaks it because they're like, oh, that's awesome, I'm out of here.
Totally me.
It happened.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Like, sweet!
See ya.
Yeah. I would have a gift card too. Just like, nope. Keeping it.
You know what I mean? But I don't want anyone to watch this and say, okay, like, that's what they're saying. Because I don't feel like that's what we should be saying.
You don't think acts of kindness change the world?
I think intentional.
That's irk. Intentional random.
Let's go change the world with irks.
No, you
Intentional.
can't have intentional random.
No, can't be random.
Acts of intentional kindness. Aches.
Ache. Yeah, that's not a word.
That's not as fun.
Yeah.
No,
Boo. I know what you're saying. So what are you trying to tell people then with that?
well, what I'm saying is just not as random as we think it is. Now, are those good things to do? That's great. We were in a drive-thru on our way to Arkansas, stopped in Dallas, went through the Chick-fil-A line, and somebody paid for ours.
Nice. And in order for them to receive their blessing, you can't pay for the guy behind you. I want to be very clear about that. If you pay for the guy behind you, you stole their blessing. You've got to receive the blessing, brother.
I didn't know there was rules on random acts of kindness. But here's the thing, like
Did you pay?
You
Stop.
receive your free.
I did
food.
not.
Yeah. Yes.
I
you
did
not
not.
pay for the person behind you.
I did not. And it was actually funny because
Did
I
you always
actually
say
ordered up on things. Like I was like, man, I'm really hungry. I'm ordering up today.
And God totally blessed you.
Yeah.
Just took a grand.
I got the large fries.
The extra
This
crispy.
is God's chicken. This is God's chicken.
And a milkshake.
No, but I just don't think that that's what we're saying here. Now, it's great for the movie.
Sure.
It sells tickets.
Sure.
But I don't think
And it
that's
spells
what,
arc.
And it spells arc, which is great and warm and fuzzy at the end of it and mind blown.
But it has more to do with the scene that Caleb picked, which was the middle scene, which is
Okay.
opportunities.
I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
The middle scene, the second scene, has his exact line was, "Sounds like this is an opportunity."
Yeah.
Is that random?
No.
Because he says
Sure.
you're praying for your family to be able to come together.
Sure.
You're praying for patience.
Patience, yeah.
You're praying for,
I don't remember the other one.
I'm just going to make one up. Finances. You're praying for a job. Like, as Christians, when we pray for those things, we don't just sit in a room and wait. Or at least
Sure.
we shouldn't. Just right? Like,
Yeah.
there's faith involved, but there's also stepping out and acting on our own accord, especially if God's called us to something. And that's where these opportunities are coming
On
into.
those opportunities.
Right.
And we talk about a lot about this. I mean, I wasn't raised in San Antonio, and as you were talking, it made me think of this. And so every time we would see like a homeless person, it was a big deal for us. First of all, if you're homeless in Wisconsin, that's bad news about 9 months out of the year. Like real bad news. And so, you know, it just wasn't something that was often in my area. Like, you just didn't see somebody standing beside the road with a cardboard sign that said, you know, wife and kids or whatever. So I remember when I first got down here, every time I'd see that, man, I feel like I had to give him $1. You know, it was something that I just can't believe. You know, and then come to realize, you know, I started seeing the same guy for 10 years in the same spot, and you're like, hey, man, you know, the same lady.
You've
I
already
remember this
given him
one lady-
$1,000.
There was this one lady who was pregnant for 3 years, you know, and it's like, hey, take the pillow out, and sometimes you'd see her without the pillow, you know, and it's one of those things, and everybody has a different. What I'm trying to say within this story is that I would think, oh, this is an opportunity to bless this person, right? And oh, this is an opportunity that God gives me. Sometimes it's just there's things going through life, and now there's actual opportunities that happen where I'll hear God say, hey, that's the one I want you to give to. And then I'll roll down the window, I'll hand him a bigger bill and actually talk, sit and talk with him. I've talked about it before with, but the guy who had his daughter's quince, and we just had a conversation with that person standing there. And I think those are opportunities that God gives us. I think a lot of times, most of the times that we think are God's opportunities, it's just us laying a plan for ourselves, like Evan Baxter. I'm going to change the world. Well, how am I going to change the world? I'm going to do it this way. And so then we start just doing whatever we want through that. And then God's like, whoa. I'm not tell you any of this stuff. That's not the opportunities I'm talking about. That's you just doing what you want. So I think the key word there is that word opportunities. Yeah. It's not just opportunities, it's God's opportunities. And in those moments of God's opportunities, you do have to act on them. Mm-hmm. You do have to take that step forward. So there's an action, but I agree with you. I think it's an intentional action, not just a random action.
You can do two things. You don't just act on them. You don't just have the opportunity to act on it. You also have the opportunity to fight him in it.
Yes, but I also think random acts of random kindness are more about us as the actor than the person that's receiving them.
We feel good about
ourselves. If we're intentional with our kindness, it's more about the other person, because then we're intentionally have sought them out. Acts of random kindness, it's like when, you can read the book When Helping Hurts. That's a great book about acts of random kindness.
Well, it's Toxic Charity. I thought I had it next to it, but...
those are books about, I gave $1,000, great, as an act of random kindness. But really, wouldn't it be better to do that intentionally with somebody, to walk life with somebody and do it with them and in those things? And I think that's a big difference too within that.
The CEO of SAWS, we talked about this.
Oh yeah,
brought it up. Did you see this in the San Antonio report? CEO of SAWS is going to forego his raise and his bonus. Was it $100,000? $100,000 bonus is giving it to all those that are, I guess, delinquent on their SAWS bills to clear that. I don't know how many people he would clear, but...
That'll give him a bigger bonus next year.
Yeah. Right. That's what I said.
He probably gave it to like one massive company that was behind on their bill, and they're giving him like a castle. That's what I was like super... I was like, no way.
Yeah, skeptical.
Cutting CPS a deal.
Yeah. It was the CPS CEO.
Yeah.
That guy owed $100,000. Yeah.
It was ERCOT.
ERCOT owed $100,000.
Oh, that's terrible. No, so here's the other side of it too. Random.
Gosh, we aren't very good.
No, so this, I didn't even plan this, but random acts of kindness give another opportunity for people to be skeptical of the ones giving the random acts of kindness. Why would you even be wanting to do something like that?
Sure.
So I have a pastor friend. I send a daily devo out every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say this all the time. This guy, he's a pastor, and he tries to beat me every morning by sending just to me.
First?
Yeah.
Nice.
And he doesn't usually beat me. But today I was late. I don't know if you noticed. I was a little later today. Yeah.
I was late getting it up too.
You're his alarm clock, and now you make it late.
I'm very busy at work, so
I went running. Sorry. But anyway, so he beat me today, and he sent me this, James 1:27. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this. So if we want maybe an answer to random acts of kindness or acts of random kindness, here is, if you are a Christian, if you trust, hope, believe in Christ, and you may be fighting him on this, but we studied the book of James. We did an introductory survey of the book of James. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after the orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world.
Yeah, but within that though, you can have the guy that drives down the street and there's a whole bunch of hands out of orphans and widows, and he's just dropping coins in them, right? Or you can have a guy who is walking into the home and sitting and talking with those people and dropping a coin in there.
So I think that's what I agree.
So that's the difference between doing acts of kindness randomly and that intentionality that I'm talking about anyway.
So the difference is the second half of it. So to keep yourself polluted is you're not just doing this for the sake of the random acts of kindness. You're doing this because you are not polluted.
Right.
You are the image of God, if we want to go with the camp theme that I'm speaking on this week. And you're bearing that image by acting upon those opportunities to serve, to give, whatever group or whatever context they may be.
Like I oftentimes when I hear like great for the Saws guy, don't get me wrong, that's really cool, right? But we're talking about it. It does bring publicity, it does bring stuff like that, and whether he leaked it or not doesn't matter. But every time you hear a story like that, you're like, man, come on, dude. Then you also hear like the in Wisconsin it was like the Kmart Santa Claus, where he would go in and drop $100,000 on layaways for people, pay all their layaways, and then walk out, and you never knew.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
Yeah, and that you think about that's an intentional random act of kindness that's not getting him anything, right? Except for his own, like, it's not this publicity. It's not driving down the street, dropping out coins, saying, "Look at me." So there's kind of this idea of going in your closet and praying kind of idea, where it's this just between you and God. So there's that type of it too, I guess, in a sense. You could have that motive behind it as well. Like, this is between me and the Lord. But even then, I struggle with that. I always take it back to the short-term mission trip guy. Who's the short-term mission trip for? You know, it's mostly for us as the person that's going versus the person that is there building the relationship. And we can have a whole theological discussion on short-term mission trips.
And we have had this. You
know, you can take 10 people at $2,000 a person, $2,500 a person, right? Or you can take $2,500 a person and give it to the missionary who's there doing the work. What do you think the missionary wants? You know, and that's a tough. And I'm not going to argue with you, but you're wrong. But it's I guess for me, it's those intentional opportunities of building relationships that matter, and I think that's where you take your 2 mites and you drop it in. That's all that she had. That's like everything that the widow could give versus the guys who were walking in there with the bag full saying, "Look at me." It's the publican who is saying, "I'm glad I'm not like the sinner," or the Pharisee who's saying that about the publican, like, "I'm glad I'm not like that person," versus that publican sitting there crying saying, "Woe is me, forgive me, Lord."
Yeah.
And that's what I think about it. And I know I'm going way off the deep end for Evans Almighty, but
no, and I think it brings up some. That's the whole thought of this. These clips, I think, bring out some good conversation. So my mind went to Jeremiah 29.
29:11.
Whoa. So
You can't like random acts of kindness. I don't like Jeremiah 29:11.
It's a coffee cup verse. That's not why I like Jeremiah 29. That is in there. But Jeremiah 29:4 says this.
Go.
Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, to all the exiles whom I've sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. So all of those who are not in their comfortable homeland, these are God's people captive by the Babylonians, and God speaks through Jeremiah to them. Verse 5, Jeremiah 29:5. This is not a good situation for God's people. Sometimes I think we feel that acts of random kindness, or when my life is straight, then as a Christian, fill in the blank. Like, this is how
I'll act.
This is how much of a superpower Christian I'm going to be when things are straight.
When I get $1 million.
And the truth is, this is what God says to his people Israel who are exiled. And he says this in verse 5. Build houses and live in them. Plant gardens and eat their produce. Take wives and have your sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your daughters in marriage, that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and do not decrease. But seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile, and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare you will find welfare. That's what I thought about in this, is this opportunity, if you will. We've talked about this before in our Ephesians study, or even in our 1 Peter study. We are strangers living in this land. We are aliens, exiles, if you will. We're not living in our homeland. But as citizens here, God has kind of commissioned us with the same thing. Build houses. Men take wives.
Sure.
Women take husbands. Have children. Do not decrease. And keep increasing. Multiply. And then this, verse 7. But
He got there.
yeah, you jerks. But seek the welfare of the city and pray to the Lord on its behalf, for in its welfare, you will find welfare. So for me, that's a pretty intentional plan that God's given us as his people in a broken, hurting world.
Yeah.
It's not so random.
Well, and that goes back to his ways are higher than our ways, along the lines that in their exile, it was a place of welfare. It was a place of safety for God's people. I don't think it makes sense a lot of times. And I think we've probably talked enough about that, but as far as God's ways aren't our ways, Joseph sat in prison 2 more years.
Next movie.
Joe, Almighty Joe.
Spring 22.
Yeah, Spring 22. And I think, that's just... The sooner we can relinquish control of what we want, I think the easier life gets.
Say it again. The sooner that we relinquish control...
Sure. The easier life gets.
Does it?
Yeah, I think so, because your stress levels go down. I think when we look at everything...
Realizing that you're not in control.
Correct. Like when you realize that the money, the dollar, the house, the neighborhood, your position as a congressman, all these things that Evan had, when we truly comes down to it, the happiness that we desire and seek is found in walking in what God has for us. And that is, he's on the hike with the family, with the dog he tried to chase away.
Yeah.
And oftentimes say, well, I don't, and this is ultimately, I think, one of the things that points that they're trying to make is, well, I don't even know where to start. How do I change my life? How do I let go of something?
Okay.
You start with the act of random kindness. And what they're trying to say is to start just by being kind. Do the next right thing.
So
and walk forward in that. And I think that changes. In faith, that his words aren't going to return void. That whatever he says is going to happen. And so therefore walk in that.
So here's where I go with this act of random kindness, which I think you're exactly right, because that was one of the questions, and I wrote that down too. I don't even know where to start. And Morgan Freeman says most people are in that same place. Mm-hmm. So if we were really honest, for those watching, the 3 of us in this room, we at times, if not more than often, are there, right? Mm-hmm. I don't even know how. I do want to change the world. I do want to affect change, positive change in this world. Sometimes I don't realize I know where I want to start at times, but is that the right place to start? Seek the welfare. Random acts of kindness. Acts of random kindness. The word welfare here is seek peace.
Yeah.
We should be seeking. It's shalom.
Yeah.
We should be seeking.
The word for welfare there is shalom.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so peace.
Who translates that welfare?
ESV.
Ugh.
What is yours?
I don't know. 90. Probably just as bad. Where's the kingdom? Continue. What were you saying?
So for me, this act of random kindness, I just don't want people to hear that we're saying, go do acts of random kindness. Sure. I want them to hear...
This one says prosper.
The prophet of God speaking to his people in exile is saying, hey, intentionally in exile, you are not a citizen of the place, you are my citizen. Sure. In that situation, seek peace. So that's like random acts of kindness, acts of random kindness. That's okay, do that, but then seek peace. Even with people that we don't want to seek peace with.
Yeah.
Seek peace with ourselves. Like reconcile, and we're going to talk about this on Sunday with Matthew 5:4, and blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. There needs to be a reconciliation within our hearts and mind and our Creator God, because we're broken and hurting people. And it's okay to sit and stew in that, to realize that I need a little bit of peace in order to maybe exemplify or be peace into this world that I'm living in.
Yeah, and I guess that's the truth. I mean, obviously, an act of random kindness is better than an act of random hate. So,
I hope so.
And so I think we have good intentions oftentimes.
I'm not knocking it totally. I just don't want it to be so loosey-goosey that, like, random acts of kindness, that's all I gotta do.
Right. And I think
it's a start to something.
Yeah.
And I think it's a start for a lot of people, because most people are so self-absorbed. To do a random act of kindness to somebody is so foreign to them. They would never have thought of buying the Starbucks to somebody behind you. So you're right. In that sense, it is a start in a path to going the right way. I guess my thing is just don't stay there. Like, don't just stay with.
Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
Don't just
That's a
stay
better
with
way
the
of saying
random
it.
acts. Go be intentional, and I agree with that. And take advantage of the opportunities. I think I'll go back to that middle scene. He talks about when you pray for peace, God doesn't just overwhelm you with a sense of peace. He gives you an opportunity to rest in that peace. When you call for your family to be closer together, He just doesn't make everybody feel all lovey-dovey.
Okay, that's
He
where I was
gives you the opportunity to stand beside somebody.
That's exactly where I was going next.
That's where we look at that.
So we pray for peace, and then we go into our own households
And cause havoc.
tear it up, right?
Yeah.
And that's maybe the first opportunity. The second opportunity may be with a neighbor or a coworker or a classmate.
And I guess maybe my thought also is sometimes it's easier to do a random act of kindness with a stranger than it is somebody we know.
Ooh.
And so what I mean, like,
Write that down.
Yeah, right. Like you don't know what it's been like to live with her for the past 40 years. I don't know, and I don't. You're right. But if you start there with the random act of kindness, or him, and I think that's the hard part. Is sometimes it's harder to do that random act of kindness for the person left. You have marital problems happening in people's homes. Well, did you ever think about maybe just washing the dishes one night? I ain't gonna do that. And you're like, bro, that's like the easiest thing to do to start breaking down. But those are intentional acts of kindness. But I guess what I'm ultimately trying to say is, it's sometimes is easier for us to. The reason why we can pay for the person behind us because we have no relationship with them, and so it's more about I just look what I did.
Yeah.
When you're intentional with that person and you're going out of your way to serve that person, it's a whole different ballgame of relationship. And I guess maybe that's where I was earlier coming across probably a little harsh. And what I'm trying to say is, hey, we got to serve the family. You got to take the walk with the family. Otherwise, you miss the whole point of the opportunity of building this ark. Yeah. Eventually, what we didn't see is like the family starts helping build the ark and also. So part of that is just we miss those opportunities, like golden opportunities to build relationship with those around us.
So if we pay for the person behind us, should we also take their food to their window and give them?
There you go.
It's like, give me their food.
Give me their food, and then just drive off. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I guess what I'm saying is you got to start somewhere. I'm not saying don't buy whatever. Buy the person coffee behind you.
I'm not saying that either, but I agree with.
But don't act like that's the highest form of God's, love for people. Like that's not. That's the lowest form. Don't stop there.
So but you said it well when you said you probably didn't even realize you said this. Don't stay there.
Yeah.
I well said, because I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I would say
I'll donate my bonus that you're gonna give me to people too.
SWC, seek welfare of city.
Seek welfare of city.
Yeah, seek the welfare of the city.
Oh, from
that's kind of where I'm at with it, and that doesn't fit into ARC or Evan Almighty.
Yeah.
But for me, like that, I think that's
Spock. Seek peace of city.
Ooh.
Oh, he can't do that.
Oh, that's right. We already had this discussion. God, you're so. Sorry.
Seek the welfare of the city.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good movie. I love movies like this. Bruce Almighty is super funny. My sister hates Jim Carrey, so she'd probably never would have watched it. But I think for me, it breaks down a lot of the we sit there and be like, "That's so dumb," and then we're like, "No, I act like that with God all the time." Like no, that's pretty much me. Like we laugh at the extreme of the humor, but when you really look into it, you're like, no, that's pretty much my relationship with God. Like refusing to do anything He says, even though it's blatantly in my face. Go.
Send me a sign.
Yeah, send me a sign, Bruce Almighty, right? Or even and I don't know if you caught this in the first one though. He said, I know you caught it, but in the first clip that we showed, he says. So you really are him, and he's like, "Do you need more proof? I haven't done the pillar of salt thing in a while." But that's just how much more proof does God have to give us that He's in control? His ways are higher than our ways. Make peace in the city. I don't know what to do next. there's like a lot of pages here of what to do next. You know, this is the Ark building for dummies that he handed him. It should, you know, this is that. This is the how to live a Christian for dummies. So maybe versus
the welfare of the city.
Yeah, maybe versus just saying I don't know what to do. Maybe read the manual that he gave us. Study the manual that he gave us.
You should start in
and
Matthew
figure that
chapter
out.
5 as we enter into the
Yeah,
Beatitudes.
yeah. We'll walk through this together, or on Sunday at 9:15 for the true you.
Man, I think I've done my sermon over 3 times this week.
We'll get a new sermon.
You
mean the one from Sunday?
No, the one that I'm doing this Sunday. Like I thought I knew where I was going, and then as I was studying,
You've redone your sermon 3 times. Okay,
Mhm.
not what I heard. I heard you've already done it 3 times.
No.
That's a lot of preaching.
Yeah, that's a lot of preaching.
like within my mind and my
Gotcha.
heart, yeah, God, like this morning was like, nope, not saying that. That's what I want you to say.
Cool.
Yeah. It's been good.
So it better be amazing then.
It's.
Yeah.
like I mean, jeez.
I will give my bonus to Saw's too.
I better be able to say awake this Sunday.
I will give.
But if Caleb, if me and Caleb stay awake, we'll give you a bonus.
Yeah, and I will give it to Sauce.
I will give it.
People who are delinquent.
For CPS, I know what it's called. It's called the REAP Fund.
Actually,
I don't know what it is for Sauce.
Since we
It's
live
on
in
every bill. Like, would you like to donate money to the REAP? Like, nope.
Since we random acts of kindness, start there.
Nope. I'll pay my neighbors. I pay yours.
Since we live in the city of Alamo Heights, I will pay the
The
delinquency.
delinquency of the Alamo Heights people.
It's probably not a lot.
I bet there's some.
Dude, when
More
we
of
bought
some.
our shop, you know what I was thinking of? This is literally what I was thinking of when I first heard about the guy, the Saws guy. When we bought our commercial property, the guy was behind on his water bill like thousands of dollars. They it was disconnected, it was padlocked shut and everything, right? So we called him up. Hey, can we get this, reconnected? Like, yeah. Oh my! Like the lady who I'm talking. Oh my! Oh my! I was like, is it like more than 1,000? She's like, I can't tell you, but whoa, way more. And I'm like, dang, like this guy really owed some money on his water bill. But then I was like, man, that guy just probably paid that guy's water bill off some random commercial account. Hopefully, at least it went to like old people over 65 or something like that.
I don't know, but I'm gonna pray. God, give us opportunities. And that's kind of a scary thing to pray because that means you are actually God and that you're actually going to do that. You're going to give us opportunities. And so just forgive us now for when we miss the opportunity, but also embolden us to step in and to be intentional and to be with the right heart seeking the welfare of whatever opportunity you have in front of us, knowing that it would benefit us too, maybe, but also, most importantly, it'll bring glory to you. And so thank you for this time that we have together to be in Scripture, and thank you that you are near to us. It's in your name we pray, amen. We'd love to see you here at 9:30. Adult Bible study taught by Frank at 9:30. Downstairs, and then Leighton is teaching young adults. If you're wondering if you are an adult or a young adult,
Don't matter.
just
If
be
you
here
are.
at 9:30. We'll get you somewhere to
flip a
go.
coin for you.
We'll get you somewhere to go. Yeah.
And if Aaron Rodgers wants to show a random act of kindness and show up, I'd be okay with that.
Ooh, he's going to Denver.